Ladies and gents, boys and girls, Thursday, March the 23rd, 2023. Hope you're all doing well. Chris Phillips here, your host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. Appreciate you all tuning in. I see John Edward, Travie, Stephen Ball Jr., Alan Vaughn, Brandon Ward, Xavier, and Noah Johns. What's up? Also, those in the Big Cock Club Discord. However, the TDC Questions channel, the TDC Questions channel, be sure your questions are answered there as we are live. We are rocking here on this Thursday. Just got off with Inside the Gamecocks. JB and Phil had a great conversation. JC is out of town. He's actually at Disney World in sunny Florida. So hope JC's having a ton of fun. So that means no JC Sherbert on the show today. So we got a full day of taking your questions, your comments, your calls as well. Again, 843-790-3377. Also, guys, of course, we are rocking the TSUS Spring Tour. Begins at Carolina Ale House in Harbison in Columbia, South Carolina tonight. Really excited. Looking forward to getting down there, guys. We've got the official Beamer Ball to the Moon 2023 Tour shirts. They will be for sale exclusively on the tour, and we got those in. And, guys, they are absolutely electric. Cannot wait to fling those around tonight. Also, we've got the Beamer Ball towels, koozies. We got koozies to give away as well. Really, really excited, guys, to get out there and get this tour kicked off and started the right way. And we'll be out there 6 o'clock is when we'll get going, guys. We'll be out there 6 o'clock to until just when this thing's over, it's over. Probably about 9:30 or 10 or so, just when everybody disperses. But going to be a really good time. We'll take questions, do a Q&A around 7 or 7:30, give you guys some updates on business, life, content, the Gamecocks, of course. And, yeah, really, really excited to get the spring tour going. Guys, of course, as always, TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Head to prizepicks.com or download the app. Use promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Guys, you can play anything and everything, college sports, pro sports, whatever you can think of. They have got it over at Prize Picks, right? We got March Madness going on, anything and everything in between. MLB is about to start up. Actually, I think it's a week until MLB opening day. Really, really excited for it. So, guys, go check them out. That's prizepicks.com or head over to the Prize Picks app. Use that promo code TSUS at sign up to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Again, guys, phone lines are open, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on the airways. We'll go ahead and jump right into your questions. Connor Lee says, I feel like we're still waiting for Sanders to have a shutdown start this year. Hopefully that comes Friday, a.k.a. tomorrow. Think we'll definitely need it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we're all just waiting on Sanders to have that dominant start. And, that's not necessarily one of my top things I'm looking for this weekend just because we keep saying it over and over and over again. But to your point, until he has that dominant start, if you will, I think we're all going to be waiting on it. So, listen, I'm just asking Will Sanders to give you some quality baseball. I'm not asking him to be anything out of the ordinary. By the way, guys, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. And I mean a beautiful weekend for baseball at Founders Park. High of 87 tomorrow with sunny skies. 79 on Saturday. There are scattered thunderstorms, a 50% chance, but I'm sure we'll be good to go playing ball. And then Sunday, partly cloudy, 20% chance of rain, high of 80. So again, it feels like we had that stretch of cold days here this week. Now it kind of seems like we got spring coming into the fold. Masters week just around the corner, of course. So going to be a great weekend for baseball, but it'll be a great night for Will Sanders tomorrow night to throw the baseball well. And I would expect him to do so, honestly. So, but I do agree with you. We're all kind of waiting on that dominant, kind of what Brandon Sproat did last week, what Vanderbilt starting pitcher did last week. We're sort of waiting on that big breakout start for Will, and I think it will come. No doubt. Justin Warren, do you think we get 2 of 3 this weekend with Mizzou coming off a sweep of Tennessee? Justin, I have locked in my prediction. I do have the Yardcocks winning 2 of 3. And listen, Missouri's a hot team right now. They're a very, very hot team. They're playing great baseball, but I do believe South Carolina, I think the Gamecocks at home, I think they'll do enough to get the series win. But I think all 3 games will be really, really competitive. JB and I were just talking about this on Inside the Gamecocks, looking ahead to this weekend series against Missouri and then next weekend at the Dude in Starkville. We were talking about what would be kind of a dream start? What would be the start to where South Carolina, after those first 3 weekends, is really in the national seed hosting conversation? And 7-2 is what I said, and he agreed with me. And because, guys, listen, sweeping Georgia was great, and anytime you can sweep, it's awesome. It's incredible. But if you're able to win 2 out of 3 the next 2 weekends, and you start 7-2 in conference play, you're going to be in the top 10. And guess who's going to be coming to town the next weekend? The LSU Tigers, probably still going to be the number 1 ranked team in all of college baseball. So it's about winning series. If you can sweep, I mean, that's absolutely great. But it's all about just taking 2 of 3 at minimum. I think the Gamecocks will do that this weekend. I think at home, they've got the edge. And I think while it was really impressive what Mizzou did against Tennessee, let's see how they do outside of Como. Let's see how they do outside of Como. Let's see what they do against this Gamecocks pitching staff. And I think that's going to be, guys, one of the biggest keys of the weekend because, you know, admittedly, I didn't watch every single inning of the Missouri-Tennessee series, but you look at what Missouri did well in that series against the Vols, and I thought what was so impressive, it seemed like every time I checked social media and every time I checked the scores of those games, it was like the first or second inning, and Missouri's already up 4-0, 5-0. They were jumping all over Tennessee's pitching staff, their starting pitcher specifically. And you can say whatever you want about the Vols. They're overrated. They're no good. But that pitching staff is still one of the best in the conference with guys like Dolander and Burns. So it is critical this weekend that Sanders, Hall, Mahoney, that they're at their best and you don't get behind the 8 ball, if you will, because Missouri is a team, again, playing with a lot of confidence right now. You want to hold them down, give your sticks time to get it going, obviously. And at home, I think you will. And for that reason, I think the Gamecocks starting pitching will shine. I think they'll be able to slow down that Missouri Tigers offense. And I think for that reason, the Gamecocks will take 2 of 3, thanks to an elite pitching staff. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be a very competitive weekend. I'd expect all 3 games to be great games. I really would. I don't think you're going to see what we saw last weekend where you're winning games by run rule and 7 innings, whatever. I think it's going to be 3 very, very competitive ball games. Absolutely. So looking forward to it. Excited. And yeah, going to be an awesome weekend for baseball. Guys, in case you missed it or just before anybody asked, there are no live stream watch-alongs this weekend. We are not doing the live stream watch-alongs this weekend. Again, like I told you guys, this is not going to be an every weekend kind of thing. It's not going to be an every weekend kind of thing. We're going to do it a lot of weekends, but it's not going to be an every weekend thing. So just wanted to make that clear and let you guys know what the deal is, if you will. Not going to be an every weekend thing. So just to give you guys a heads up. Let's see. I'm now curious because I was talking about MLB and opening day. Let's see. When did the Braves open up here? It looks like, yeah, the 30th. So the Gamecocks. The Braves are at the Nationals to open this season. Their first home game is not till April the 6th. How about that? Their first home game is not till April the 6th. But I tell you what, that'd be fun to go April the 7th. I will be in town. So they're at home from the 6th to the 12th. Might have to check out a Braves game. Why not? Why not? Anyways, John Edward, Anthony Scooter Carey announcement Saturday at 6 p.m. I had no idea, John Edward. Thank you for updating us. I had no clue that was the case. Had no clue. Guys, Gamecocks on the practice field today. Shane Beamer hyping the boys up. Really exciting stuff. The pads are on. The pads are popping. And, yeah, I know we're all excited. Just our little taste of football, if you will. By the way, guys, dropped a new merch item today. The Beamer Rattler 2023 flags are officially on the store over at tsus.store. Be sure to check it out. The flag that you're going to need for tailgate season. You absolutely have to have it. Be sure to check it out. I saw my guy Bruin Nation, by the way, speaking of Twitter and social media, Bruin Nation commented they took the bait. I mean, Bruin Nation, you want to call it bait. I just say that I was not surprised by the reaction. I was not surprised in the slightest. Yeah. I was not surprised in the slightest. It's funny how people I think what happens, man, like honestly, is that people look at Twitter as like it's not a real place, and you're not even really interacting with real human beings, right? So I think that's why people are so quick to say things that they don't have to stand behind. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't take it seriously either. And I don't take it personally because it's just all made up, make believe BS. I mean, I've always looked at like Twitter beef that way. Like, bro, Twitter beef is not real life beef. Twitter nonsense is just it's not real. It's not real life. So I mean, if you say you're gonna kick somebody's ass on Twitter, it means nothing like in the real world. You know what I mean? So, anyways, it's all in good fun though. That was a funny clip, and yeah, I loved seeing the reaction, if you will. I loved seeing the reaction. Justin Lawrence is going to try to do 1 or 2 series this year too for the Braves. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go at some point. I don't know which game it'll be, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to Atlanta. Those are always fun games, man. Those are always really fun games. Again, I mean, they play the 6th through the 12th. Each and every single game is a 7 or 7:20 first pitch, if you will. So, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun. And I you know, it's easy to make it a night or just like a there and back in the night, if you will. They also play the 21st to the 27th, long home stretch. They got the Astros, they got the Marlins for 4, so it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be really, really cool. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. It's funny. JB asked me, what do you got scheduled for the show today? I'm like, dude, we're taking questions, comments, calls, and from there, it's unscripted, man. It's wide open. It's wide open. So, you know, I mean, that's the beauty of TDC. We don't script this thing. It's just what, you know, we kind of go based off of what you guys want to talk about, what you guys want to discuss, and, you know, whether it be sports, it be not sports, it's just, you know, whatever it might be. So that's the beauty of this show. That's really, truly what the beauty of this show is. So let's see. Pads are popping this morning in Columbia, South Carolina. Looks like Dale from East Tennessee has been active on Twitter as well. He said, if you ain't never had a corn dog after dark, you ain't living. I hear you, Dale. BDD out. Dale's profile picture is a picture of Shoney's. Oh, my God. I love that. Yeah, 8,000 views. 8,000 views on that video of posing the hypothetical whose ass would you want to kick? Whose ass would you want to kick? 8,000 views on that video. Sometimes, like, I'm not necessarily a pot stirrer. Sometimes I just like to check to see if people are awake. You know what I mean? Because things get really calm this time of year, as I've said many times. So it's sometimes it's nice to kind of just nudge people, say, hey, wake up, man. Wake up. We're still here, still rocking, still making content. So Connor Lee says, who's your pick to win the Masters? Great question. I don't know, man. Does Scheffler go back to back? Bro, it's hard to pick against Scotty, man, the way he's playing. I think the better question is, is it one of the favorites, one of like the top 10, or is it going to be like the Masters has got a really unique way of producing winners of guys that like are very under the radar or you've like never even heard of. You know what I mean? Like there have been winners over the years where it's not always the no-brainer guy. You know what I mean? I think Scotty Scheffler is probably the most consistent golfer on the tour. Jon Rahm would be a really interesting pick, I think. I mean, is he going to win one eventually? You know, so I think what's just going to be so intriguing, though, is the Champions Dinner and all these guys coming back over from LIV and playing in this golf tournament. Like, to me, I'm following golf more closely now because I'm actually playing more golf. But so it's like and I've watched the Full Swing documentary on Netflix, which is really, really good, by the way. But yeah, the divide between those guys is crazy. It's crazy. And watching, and I'll say this, I see Connor Lee says frick live. I know there's some people that feel really strongly on it. I mean, I just like I'll just say this. I have no problems with guys going to live. I don't. I have no issue with it. I really don't. Like I understand the whole. I mean, is it kind of an icky thing playing for Saudi Arabia and the money and where it's coming from? But like, dude, I think it's easy. Let me just say this. It's easy to sit here and say, oh, the money's this and that, and like whatever, like don't do it. But like, bro, you're not the one getting $100 million shoved in your face. Like, you don't know what you'd do. You don't know what you would do. You know what I mean? So it's very easy to sit here on this side and say you would never do it, but like you're not getting offered 100 mil. You're not getting offered any sort of, I mean, it's crazy. Like these guys, they're getting more money in one lump sum than they made their entire careers on the PGA Tour, you know? And I think there's some guys, I mean, I think that, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I think what's unfortunate, though, I mean, I think for them what's unfortunate, I don't know, man. Like, has anybody watched Live Golf? Does anybody watch it? I mean, I don't even know how half the time. I guess it's on the CW or something. But, like, is anybody watching Live? I haven't tuned into a single tournament, and I like golf. I like golf, you know? So, you know, and I'll say this, after watching the episode with, like, Brooks Koepka, you know? After watching the episode of Brooks Koepka and how negative and self-deprecating he was talking about his game. Like, bro, I get why he took the money because he don't believe he can win. He doesn't believe he can win. Like, why wouldn't you take the money? Take all the pressure off. You don't even think you can win, which is crazy to me. Which is crazy to me. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. Let's see. Connor Lee, I mean, I go get the bag, but I feel like there's plenty of money on the tour with sponsorships and winning. How much does someone need? Connor Lee, I tell you this again. You sit there and you say, like, how much does someone need? But some people can't get enough, man. Like, you can't get enough. You always need more. And I mean, I would agree with you to the sense of, like, you don't want to be attached to material things in that way. Like, if you're always needing more, then you'll never find happiness. You'll never be fulfilled, right? That's how you end up being miserable and being rich. But yeah, I mean, listen, everybody's got different reasons. And if these, I'll just say this too, if these guys with kids, especially, I forgot Dustin Johnson has kids. And, you know, the episode they did with what's his name that wears all the crazy pants. Good God, what is his name? Somebody help me out. But these guys that have kids, man, if they want to set up their families for, you know, for generations, who am I to tell them not to do it? I mean, they know what they're doing to their legacy. Ian Poulter. Yeah, they know what they're doing to their legacy. They know. I mean, but for me, though, it's like, does it tarnish Phil Mickelson's legacy? You know, he's still one of the greatest golfers ever. I don't think that, yeah, I think he's still one of the greatest golfers ever. So I don't know. It's an interesting topic. It's a very interesting topic for sure. I'm sure our guy Phil, if he's tuned in, is just loving all this golf talk. I'm sure he's loving it. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. Yeah, you got the match play going on right now. Rick Foreman says the exchange between Dak and Cornville yesterday was comedy gold. Well, that was actually a couple days ago, but yeah, the video got reshared, and I mean, it's just electric stuff. Electric stuff, man. I don't think Phil meant to do that, but man, I mean, if not having a feel was a person, right? If not having a feel was a person, goodness gracious. Just a crazy, crazy question to ask. Yeah, I did see the Champions Dinner, by the way. Very, very good. Yeah, it looked delicious. Connor, I watched some highlights this morning. I have not watched a ton of the match play this week. Haven't watched a ton. Have not watched a ton. I did see the highlights, though. Connor Lee, how much do you think Bussin' with the Boys pay for their interviews? Now, there's a great question. For Coach Beamer, I don't think they paid anything. Now, for Rattler and Wells, I think they came out of pocket. I think they probably they paid at minimum $1,000 a piece for sure. Absolutely. I think probably $1,500 a piece for those two guys. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Beamer made them pay, though. I think Beamer took advantage of that for just exposure for the program. It's a great question, though. It's a great question because free interviews are no longer a thing. Free interviews are no longer a thing. Absolutely. And I know that for a fact. I know that from personal experience. I mean, guys, there's guys on the roster. I'll tell you this. We were approached like a week and a half before the bowl game. I was approached by a guy who was an agent for 6 or 7 or 8 players. I think he actually commented on TDC a couple of times, and nice guy, cool guy. But, it was just crazy to hear guys that had never even taken a snap at South Carolina or guys who had very, very limited playing time asking for $300, $400, $500 for an interview. And it's just the nature of the beast now. It's the reality of the business. And, it is what it is. And listen, I'm all for it. Guys want to monetize their name, image, and likeness. But, the guys that are on the top of my mind that he was marketing for, he was working with, I think that's why you haven't heard them do any interviews because, no offense, those guys that were asking for that money, they're not worth it. I'm not going to name any names, but I mean, I was sort of blown away. I think if you're charging, and again, do whatever you like. This is just my opinion, though. You're asking, you're a 19, 20-year-old kid at South Carolina. You're a football player, and you're not Spencer Rattler. You're not, right? You're not. Because I'll tell you this, guys. If I was going to pay for an interview, Spencer Rattler's probably the only guy I'd pay for. I don't think there's anybody else on that roster that's worth it. And no offense, and that's just me. That's just me. There's nobody else on that roster that, because you again, when you think about it from the business standpoint, we're not just throwing money away from here, or we're not just throwing money away here. When you think about it from the business standpoint, is there going to be even a remote chance for a return on investment? Is the impact on the business felt going to be worth this money that we are spending? I think Spencer Rattler is the only player that would move the needle to that degree. And so I just look at some of these guys that are asking upwards of $500, $600, $700 for interviews. And it's like, who do you think you are? Like Elon Musk? Like, I mean, dude, come on. Like, I think it'd have been, unfortunately, and again, I know we're geared now with NIL to do nothing for free. Like, I got to monetize everything. But it's like, I got to be honest, I think you're missing a great opportunity to market yourself and to tell your story on the TSUS platform. I mean, our content's going to reach the masses. There's no question about it. Every single clip we put out there, it does well. I mean, just yesterday I put out a clip and it was a silly clip, but about like, who would you want to fight? It's got 8,000 views. Like if a player comes on this show, their word, their message, whatever they want to convey, it's going to get conveyed to the masses. That alone, that's worth more than that money you're asking for, that little $500, right? And Brandon Ward, there is no need, my guy. Do not cash at me to get spent on the show. It's not happening. I think we are on the blacklist of Carolina football, maybe even Carolina athletics. So there will be no current. I say, it's funny though. I say there will be no current players coming on the show, but Luke Doty, I mean, we had him on last year, but the way that worked, it actually worked where we got the Hidden City Music Festival. They were the ones that set it up, and they got him to do the interview, and I just happened to do the interview and produce it. And so it did work out that way. But, I'll tell you guys, I don't think this is like anything we have to keep secret. We don't have a great relationship with Steve Fink. Obviously, I think Steve Fink's first impression of me was Fire Muschamp, and from then, Justin King, certain guys in that building have just been anti-TSUS from the jump, which is totally fine. I don't need their blessing to do anything I do. And I'm sure it goes above Steve Fink, by the way. So I hate to put it all on him. But, when Spencer Rattler first committed to South Carolina, obviously we've collabed on all this merchandise, stuff like that, put money in his pocket. It's funny to see the slap dicks on social media that ask about, what are you doing for now? This, that. I just don't choose to share my business with people that don't need to know it, right? I know what's going down. Rattler knows what's going down. His team knows what's going down. And it ain't really anybody else's business outside of that. It's not. It's not. Spoiler, it's not. So I don't need to tell percentages. I don't need to tell business deals. I don't need to appease to slapdicks. There's no appeasing needed. Your job is to buy the merch and enjoy the value. My job is to deal with all the business stuff behind the scenes. That's it, bottom line. But yeah, so anyways, we had those conversations with Rattler, have a great have a great relationship with him, and he had expressed interest on coming to the show. And I'll never forget one of my old business partners, Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. They they were interested in with the NIL space, sponsoring interviews and paying for them. And one of them was Spencer Rattler. And I mean, guys, we offered him upwards like $800 and we just never heard back. So I don't know if Fink or Carolina got a hold of him or what the deal was, but we offered what I think's a lot of money for a 20-minute conversation. I mean, hell, I told you guys this before, but like a guy like Jaheim Bell, he wanted $500 for 15 minutes. And I said, thanks, but no thanks. I appreciate your time. So, I mean, it's just like, I'm not in the pay for interview space, man. My voice carries enough weight. There's just no need. It makes no business sense. I love getting former players on and having guys telling their story, but I'd rather get a guy like, for example, like a Dawson Hoffman, who we're going to have on the show next week. I'd rather have a guy like that. He might not have played a whole lot, but he's willing to come on, tell his story, share behind the scenes things, and guys that just, from one Gamecock to another want to talk Gamecocks and share great conversation. And they see the value in coming on my show the same way I see the value in them coming on. I'd honestly rather have combos with those guys because, guys, you get a guy like, no offense to him again, you get a guy like a Rattler, you get a guy like a Juice Wells, you get a guy like a Jaheim Bell last year. What are they going to say on the airwaves that's going to be worth $500, for example? Like what would Jaheim Bell, what nugget would he have said that would have been worth that? Because, everything's going to be pre-canned like they're at a press conference. Everything's going to be just by the book. Don't say anything outlandish. Don't say anything over the top, which is totally fine. But I'm just giving you all an inside look of why you're not seeing current players, why you're not seeing that, why you're not seeing them on the show. And I love them to death, and I appreciate them. And, it's, you talk to guys like Dawson Hoffman and Patrick Reedy and Corbett Glick and those guys that played on the team. It's funny. They laugh about it because they straight up told me, and we're talking about guys that were on the team as soon or as recently as 2021. And it's funny. They mentioned that, there's a lot of guys in the locker room that love you. There's some guys that absolutely hate you, and it is what it is. And listen, I totally get it, man. I totally get it. So, all right, let's jump to the phone lines here. Skyland, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. How you been?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
Not much. I'm just curious to see how this weekend goes for the Yarhawks.
I'm curious as well, my friend. I think it'll be a great series. I mean, I got Carolina winning 2 or 3, as I'm sure you saw, but I do think it's going to be a really fun, competitive, back and forth weekend.
Right. I know Tuesday was pretty bad. I know people have the stomach bug, and of course, baseball's a weird game, and you're going to have ups and downs.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. I guess you were. What was your thoughts on the game Tuesday night?
I know. Baseball's weird, but I still don't think people like from Charlotte should hold us down for sure. Because I don't think they even recruit. We don't even recruit the type of players they have. But every team has good players. And baseball is just one of them weird nights that, sometimes it just don't go your way.
Yeah. No, for sure. I do agree. I don't, I'm not making more of it than we need to. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. You look across the SEC and, it just happens. I mean, Vanderbilt lost to Central Arkansas and they swept Ole Miss. Explain that. You know what I mean? So it's just, I mean, sometimes baseball is just a funny game, and, sometimes you do lose. Sometimes it's not your night. And, I would just say, as long as it doesn't become a trend, it's no big deal to me. Right. It is funny though, the people that are that are complaining about the Charlotte, North Carolina game at Truist Field. Gamecocks will be back there in 2 weeks to take on the North Carolina Tar Heels Tuesday, April the 4th. So,
and people always try to say, what do you get playing out of Charlotte? Well, first of all, you can't play all their games. You can't play all non-conference games at home. Number
Yeah.
one. Number two, you can't go to Charlotte and play at their field because there's probably not enough capacity to hold both of our fans.
Yeah.
And number three, players probably love playing at ballparks.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, Charlotte's a beautiful ballpark.
Yeah.
Like, who would want to go hit some balls and look at the skyline in the backfield, the background?
No, for sure. For sure. No, I'd agree with you. I mean, it's one of the best backdrops in all of baseball. So, and I've been to that ballpark many times. Obviously, lived in Charlotte for 4 years. So, no, it's a great ballpark, no doubt, man. I think the players probably enjoy it. It's just, and we've been better there than people give credit. We've been better there than people give credit. You know, I just think when we lose there, we don't look all that great doing so.
Right, right. It definitely was an ugly loss. But, in the past, I'll call it and be on negative stuff. But you have two losses, and there's no reason to be negative. And usually I'm that negative caller, and there's just no negativity right now. Now I do have friends, that follow the baseball closely, and they do feel like this is the beginning of the bad for the Gamecocks because all the cheese stuff is gone. I mean, Georgia didn't have the best bullpen, and we took advantage of it. But I am most definitely curious how this weekend goes because I might be negative and they are, and, and so they had me thinking, and I'm not gonna lie, I am thinking, but they do feel like it's the beginning of the bad because all the cheese stuff's gone basically outside of Mississippi State. But I'm still optimistic and believe in these boys because, like I said, even when we struggle to win in the past, we struggled against midweek teams, and we only lost to one midweek team so far. So everything's been better than what it used to be.
Yeah, we're fine, man. We're fine. I mean, again, just go out there, win 2 out of 3 this weekend, and all will be fine. So, I think you got a great opportunity. I know Mizzou's been red hot, but I think on your home field, man, I think the biggest thing for me, Skyler, again, I looked at it, I talked about this earlier. I don't know if you heard, but I think the starting pitching, right, continuing to be elite because I thought Mizzou did a great job of jumping all over Tennessee in their starting pitching last weekend.
Tennessee's not who they were last year. Tennessee lost a lot of players.
They're not, they're not. But I mean, I'll say their pitching staff, their starting rotation, is still one of the best in college baseball with Dolander, Burns, those guys. And the way Mizzou was able to jump all over them, it was really surprising to me. So I think it's just massively important. Obviously, a confident Mizzou club, you need quality starts at all 3 of your guys, and not putting yourself behind the 8 ball. I know that goes without saying, but especially when you look at what Mizzou has done, I think that's a priority this weekend.
It is, and I'm curious to see how we play. And I've always want to hope for the Gamecocks to take 2 out of 3, and I want to say the Carolina does take 2 out of 3. I don't know much about Mizzou. You haven't texted me your little picture yet. You usually text me on Thursday. So
yeah, no, I have not gotten it yet. I don't think normally what happens is Gamecocks baseball drops the series primer and then he goes off of that the pitching matchup. So I don't think they've dropped that yet.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Well, I am curious to see how we do. I do like Tipplet in the outfield though. He gives you the if you keep playing Tipplet in the outfield, that just gets him better prepared for next season.
No, I agree. I love Tippett out there. I really do. I love Tippett.
He makes it look easy, just like Dylan Brewer and Evan Stone does.
Yeah.
So I'm just decided to get the Arcocks back on the field again.
Yeah. How about a packed Founders Park too? High of 87 tomorrow, Scotland. You going into games this weekend or no?
I have my kids this weekend, and with a 5 and 3-year-old, they gonna want to play at the little slide and stuff. And
yeah, I was asked when I'll be back at the ballpark. I'm thinking maybe that LSU series. I'm kind of eyeing that series if we things continue to roll how they're rolling. I think that would be a really really fun weekend to go check out the Yardcocks. So
right. If you lose 2 out of 3 this weekend, are you starting to panic?
No, man. It's no. It's too early, bro.
I got you.
I just, dude. here's the thing. The same way that I'm not crowning this team after the opening weekend, I'm not going to panic if you lose 2 out of 3 this weekend. Like, for example, I think Tennessee's probably still going to be a good team. I don't think they should panic. I mean, I don't think you should be happy about getting swept. I don't think if we lose 2 out of 3 to Mizzou, you should be happy. You sure as shit shouldn't be happy losing 2 or 3 of your home field. But no, you don't. I mean, panic is a strong word. Panic. In baseball, bad shit's going to happen. You're going to lose games. Like, it's just inevitable. It's just making, not allowing it to become a trend. That's the biggest thing. You're going to have misses. It's minimizing the misses. It's not letting losing a game or losing 2 in a row turn into losing 7 in a row. It's nipping it in the bud as quick as you can. So I'm not going to let one weekend, if it does go awry, I'm not going to allow that to make me hit the quote unquote panic button.
And another thing, when only losing 2 games and winning mostly all of your non-conference games, it leaves you room for error. And in the past, we didn't have that room for error.
I mean, here's
does.
I was going to say, here's the thing, Skyline, is that like that opening weekend sweep, it does give you wiggle room. Because like, what's the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to be 20-10 when SEC play ends. That's winning 2 of 3 every weekend. Are you actually going to finish 20-10? Probably not. Only like maybe 1 or 2 teams in the conference will. So you probably won't, but that's the goal, right? So, hey, even if you, and I don't think this is going to happen, but even if you lost 2 of 3, right? If you're 6-3 after the first 3 weekends, you're on pace. You're on pace, right? But this is definitely one, even with Missouri being in the top 25, this is definitely one you need to protect the home field. You need to win 2 out of 3 at minimum, right? And Mizzou is still a team. I don't care what they're ranked, but Mizzou is a team that, they weren't very highly thought of coming in the season. I'm not saying they're not a quality club. They're an SEC club, right? They're probably a pretty damn good ball club, got some good players, but this is a series you need to win. I mean, this is one you expect to win because the schedule is only going to get tougher after the Mississippi State series.
I'm excited. Very optimistic and very positive for these Gamecocks this year. 21-2, 20-2?
Yeah, we're 20-2. Yeah.
Definitely excited. Like I said, it does leave you wiggle room because usually by now you probably don't, especially when I say by now, I'm talking about Kingston's years. You probably are done lost about eight games by now.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point, Skylar.
You're only 2 losses.
Yeah, only 2 losses, and I think you're fine. I'm excited for the weekend, man. Like I said, go win 2 out of 3, all be fun. All right, I think we lost Skyland there. Either way, appreciate Skyland for the call. And, yeah, I mean, again, guys, are you hitting the panic button if you lose one weekend? I mean, that to me is the wrong attitude to take. And I'm not saying Skyland necessarily has that attitude, but it's a long season, man. It's a really long season. In the same way you don't crown a team after one weekend, you don't bury them after one weekend either, right? You're going to lose games. It's not allowing those negative things to become trends. That's all it is. Just don't allow it to become a trend. That's it. Hey, you can lose a midweek game. Don't let it become a trend. Make the adjustment, bounce back the right way, and be resilient. That's it. That's it. Because if you continue to do that, good things will happen. I mean, again, guys, look at Ole Miss last year. I mean, that's not the ideal way to get there, but, they could have at many times completely folded up shop. They could have folded when they lost 2 or 3 to South Carolina. Thought to themselves, my God, we just lost to the Gamecocks. Hey, they could have let that define their season. And they didn't. You keep the right attitude. You keep working. You keep your confidence. They got to the postseason. They got red hot, and they win the national championship. I mean, make it make sense. Make it make sense, right? So, anyways, guys, we're going to jump into our first break. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. More your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking the questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Something exciting, guys, I'd love to get your feedback on. I got a good buddy of mine named Taylor Desson. You might recall we had him on the podcast. I think it was a couple of months ago now. Yeah, I think that was a couple of months ago we did that. Anyways, my good friend Taylor, master content creator, does a great job. That's why I had him on the show, or one of the reasons why. Does a great job with content. He's obviously in the staffing space, recruiting space, if you want. I just think he does incredible work in that space, and with utilizing content, I think in a space too that doesn't normally have content in that way. So anyways, he does sort of a day in the life vlog type deal. And I've thought that would be something that would be really, really cool. You know, we used to have Behind the Beak, and it was like it was a weekly update. And, you know, I was using my GoPro, and there was editing involved, and the videos were like 10 to 12 minutes long. And, you know, I stopped doing that just because, again, you get to a point in entrepreneurship where it's like you break things down this way. And I you know, you may not, I don't know, some people may look negatively upon this, but it's just the reality. You know, when your time is so limited, you break things down. There's no such thing as work. Is this a money-making activity, or is it not a money-making activity? Like, which one is it? And so that's kind of how you determine, or how you place importance on things. And I'm not saying it's all about money, but you know, when you have limited time and resources and energy, that's how you have to break things down. So, for example, the vlog wasn't necessarily a money-making activity. It was just one of those things I was kind of doing because I love to do, and I thought it was cool, and it was cool, but we haven't done one in quite a while. However, I think doing, like, he does like a daily vlog series, like every single day in the life type of deal. And so I wanted to get you guys feedback. What are your overall thoughts? How would you like a day in the life type of thing with TSUS? And I think it'd be cool, not just for like the Gamecock side of things, but I just think my life is really cool and unique, and my journey with entrepreneurship. And I think it would be cool to share that journey, you know, with people as we go. And obviously there'd be some things, my personal life behind closed doors, you know, not going to share every little detail, but sharing just a behind the scenes look into how the sauce is made and how we do everything here. And I think that would be really cool and something easy, because his stuff, you know, if I recall correctly, looking at, you know, his stuff on Instagram, I mean, it's like a minute long, right? It's not like a, you know, a crazy thorough thing or whatever. Which is good, which is what plays on social media. I'm just looking at his Instagram. Here. Yeah, and it looks like it's like a minute long, right? It's like a minute long. So, it's really cool thing. It's really cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. So I don't know. You guys let me know. Does that sound stupid? Does that sound cool? Does that sound fun? Chase says, let's see some action on the links. Yeah, for sure. Dude, I'd love to. That'd be fun. That would be very fun. That would be very, very fun. I mean, why not? Why not? So, especially with the tour starting up and stuff like that, you know, I don't necessarily have the equipment at this moment, but it'd be something I could get very quickly, very easily, probably on Amazon, stuff like that. But I think it'd be cool, man. I mean, again, it would lighten the workload in regards to, you know, I think one of the reasons that I stopped doing the vlog is I just felt like, for the time that I was putting in for like all of the video editing and all of that, I was like, is this really worth it? And it didn't necessarily feel like it was worth it. But I think it'd be cool to share the journey again, not just the Gamecock side, but I talk a lot of stuff about that's not Gamecocks. You know, I'm big into philosophy, I'm big into self-development, I'm big into entrepreneurship, growth, fitness, sport. You know, love golf, for example, love to read. I mean, there's just a lot of things to this. And, you know, I think it'd be cool to share that journey. I think it could be very, very cool to share that journey. So I don't know. That's something that we got some big things in the works behind the scenes, guys, like I told you all before, that, you know, are going to be life-changing and business-changing type of things that take place. And, you know, would love to share that all with you guys. So I think that might be the next move. And, you know, politics, not politics, Madison. No, no, I am like the least political guy you could ever meet. I think it's kind of crazy how people, you know, I've thought to myself sometimes, I'm like, should I be more outspoken? Should I take more of a bold stance on certain things? And I just, you know, I just, I don't feel the need to do so. I really don't. Like I try to focus on the things I can control what you can control. Um, I think people are so, and most people, unfortunately, they don't speak on things or have conversations on things for the sake of understanding. They have conversations for the sake of arguing and telling you like you're wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. I say nobody's right. How about that? I say nobody's right. You know, I mean, there are certain things behind, moral ethics and having a moral compass and doing certain things. But like, I'm not here to tell anyone how to live. You know what I mean? I'm just not, and I'm not going to do it. So I don't get into politics. I don't get into, I don't get into any of that madness. I just don't do it. I don't do it. That's why you never hear me talk about it here. I never forget when COVID was going on. People were like, "What do you think about masks?" I'm like, dude, we're not here to discuss that. People don't come into. I'm like, people don't come into, you know, my show for those types of things. They just don't. They just don't, flat out, bottom line. So anyways, let's see. Brian Dean, I can't believe Lamar Jackson's asking price to play a sport. As kids, we played for fun, or in high school, we wore those jerseys on Friday for pride in our school. Well, Brian, it's business. It's business, Brian. It is. And he's his agent, or they're asking what they feel he is worth, his value to an organization. And so I get it. I mean, I get it, Brian. I hear you. The whole pride don't pay the bills, my guy. That pride and love for the game, it don't pay the bills. So, I ask what you feel you're worth, man. Ask what you feel you're worth. I have no problem with it. Especially when you're doing something or providing something that has immense value. Why would you not ask for it, right? Why would you not ask for it? So, anyways, Austin Greer says all momentum will be shot. All momentum will be shot if we lose the series. I don't disagree, Austin. I think it'll be a bump in the road, but I don't think like the season's a wash if we lose one series. I don't believe that. Johnny Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Did not know he didn't have an agent. Well, he's asking for what he feels like he's worth, and it is what it is. So I got really no problems with it. I know what I was going to do now. I was going to look and see. I forget when the last behind the beak was. It's been quite a while. It's been quite a while since we posted a. I'm trying to look here. I don't even recall, honestly, man. It's been a while since we posted a behind the beak. Those were really fun. I mean, those were really cool. Don't get me wrong. Those were really, really fun. All these Villatronco videos. Ooh. Those were good times, the Villatronco stuff. Wild. It's something I don't do. I don't really go back, guys, and look at like old content all that much because I stay so present moment with what's going on right now. But it is kind of wild to go back and look at the content and um, you know, just really, yeah, it's wild. Just come a long way, man. I've grown as a person. I've grown as an entrepreneur. The Gamecocks have grown. It's been a really, really neat. It's been a really neat journey, man. Been a really neat journey. So I'll never forget. I did Chris Reed's mean tweets because I was trying to process through how the madness on social media. Yeah, that was a silly thing. Yeah, let's see. It looks like the last video 6 months ago. Yeah, 6 months ago. Yep, 6 months ago. That's crazy. 6 months ago, we were behind the beak rocking. Yeah, because here I'm at my buddy Tripp's place at the tailgate week one. My guy John in the building for Georgia State. Good time. And then I forgot we played golf the day after. I totally forgot about that. I forgot that we played golf the day after. How about it? How about that? I totally forgot about that. And then we were back in the studio. Crazy times, man. I'm getting caught up looking at old content here. Um, let's see. Jacob, you definitely do not want to lose Friday, Saturday, and win Sunday, but losing the series would be bad. I mean, yeah, Jacob, there's no good scenario in which losing the series is a good option. Brendan L, what's going on? Luke RJ. Someone said you thought about doing an OnlyFans. WTF. No, Luke RJ, that was you in the Big Cock Club Discord who brought up OnlyFans. Yeah. That was you, my guy. Let's not get it twisted. That was you. Coleman Hall, what did you say I should say for today's discussion? Oh, yes, Coleman. Yeah. No, I think it's interesting as we enter into year 3. As we enter into year 3 of the Beamer era, I'm sure this will get people fired up. You know, when you look at year 3 of Shane Beamer and you look at year 3 of Will Muschamp, and also you look at year 3 of Steve Spurrier, right? There was a lot of optimism going into year 3 of Coach Spurrier. Year 2, you know, you won, 8 games? You won the Liberty Bowl. You're coming into 2007. A lot of your top playmakers are back. Your quarterback returns. And you start out 6-1. And you're ranked 6th in the country. And you proceed to lose, what was it, the final 5 games or so? You miss out on a bowl game. Then that was a massively disappointing season. Then you think to year 3 of Will Muschamp. Right? Year 3 of Will Muschamp. You're coming off the Outback Bowl victory. Again, there's a lot of optimism going in that year 3 of Will Muschamp. I remember thinking 2018. You had Jake Bentley back, Deebo Samuel. You know, we thought this is the team. We're going to challenge Georgia. Who can forget that big, what was it, week 2? I think it was the week 2 matchup. SEC Nation came to town. You took down Coastal in that first game. And, you know, Gamecocks came out with the different uniforms. And we felt like this is going to be it. The Gamecocks are going to kick the door down and challenge for the SEC East, and you got boat raced in the 2018 season. Year 3 of Will Muschamp was nothing short of another massive disappointment. Of course, that year ended losing 28-0 in the bowl game against Virginia. So I ask you all, are you confident that year 3 of the Shane Beamer era will not follow the trend of those previous coaches? Right? Lou Holtz before Steve Spurrier, his year 3 was the positive year. Of course, won 8 games, won the Outback Bowl. But it's just interesting how, you know, year 3 is a big year for coaches. And so South Carolina coming off an 8-win season. Did you win the bowl game? No, but you beat Tennessee and Clem Sucks to close out the year. Will Shane Beamer continue the ascent, or will we see, just like Steve Spurrier and Will Muschamp, will we hit a bump in the road in year 3 and only win, say, 6 or 7 games? Because it is a very similar feeling going into this season. It's a very similar feeling that we had after year 2 of Will Muschamp and year 2 of Steve Spurrier. I'm not saying it feels identical, but there are some things you can look at and kind of draw comparisons and say, you know, there's some things that are similar to those previous 2 coaches. So, you know, I think obviously we all know this is a big, big year for Shane Beamer and company. A lot of people look at year 3 for a head coach and say, this is the year where you really identify the trajectory of the program. This needs to be kind of the year you take off, if you will. And certainly when you have the pieces returning the Gamecocks do, when you have your quarterback, when you have Juice Wells, when you got some key pieces on the defense back, I think there's a lot of reason to believe that this should be the year the Gamecocks take a major step. And who knows, maybe even push winning double-digit games. So big year for Shane Beamer, no doubt. Big, big year. Let's see. Luke RJ, Chris, I really thought people made money doing vlogs and not just other stuff. I mean, they might. Luke RJ, they might, but I think OnlyFans at this point is it's known for what it's known for, my guy. And really, I mean, if you have Patreon, Luke RJ, it's OnlyFans is no different. I mean, Patreon serves the same way. I don't think there's really any advantage that OnlyFans would have over a Patreon. So, can you imagine the jokes, Luke RJ, if we jumped over to OnlyFans? Can you just imagine? So, John Eber, Beamer will not follow the Muscrap trend where it went downhill in year 3. I mean, I don't think he will either. John Weber, but I think it is an interesting talking point because we've seen multiple coaches have trouble in year 3. And, it will be. I think if you win 7 or less, it'll be a massive disappointment. I think it absolutely, last year, I felt like we were a little bit more understanding where it's like, hey, you know what? It's still tough. You go 7-5. It's not a horrific year. I think you need to win 8 or more. To show, again, we've talked about it, to show that stability, in the program, especially again with the guys you have back, I think winning 8 or more is absolutely, it's critical. It's absolutely critical. Brian Dean, Chris, do you think the defense takes that big step forward this year into Clayton White? Brian, I'd say if we're the same as we were last year, I'd honestly take it. I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you, Brian. I'm nervous about the defense. I am nervous about the defense. I think all that you lost at the edge, a defensive front that did not do a good job stopping the run. I think the linebacker position will actually be improved. I'm starting to feel a little bit better about the linebackers, you know, with Mo Kaba coming back from injury. Debo Williams is back. Stone Blanton's going to be better. You know, Pup Howard, I think, is going to make an immediate contribution. Jerron Willis, I think, is going to be a day one starter. What does Donovan Westmoreland do? Does he play edge? Does he play linebacker? I think, though, you've got, you know, I hate to say this because, you know, appreciate their careers as Gamecocks, but I don't think you lose a lot losing a guy like Sherrod Green. I really don't. I don't know how much you really lose losing a guy like a Brad Johnson. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't know that you lose a whole lot, guys. You lose veteran guys. But I mean, they were not all conference type of guys by any stretch, right? So I think it might be a situation where it's addition by subtraction, but you know, you're plugging a lot of holes on that defense. You're plugging a lot of holes, man. Anytime you lose guys like Rush and Smith, we've talked about it a lot. The secondary is going to be a question. You know, guys like Dial and Fortune and DQ Smith and many others, they got to step up, man. They got to play great football. They got to play their best football. So Austin said that he believes this isn't a very good team. This team isn't great, he says. 7-5 is not a bad season. You know, Austin, I'm not saying it's like a burn everything down type of season. I think 7-5 could certainly happen. If you win an 8th in a bowl game, you still had a really good year. I think 7-5 with the guys you return with. I'm not going to, again, I'm not saying it's going to be a horrific year, but I'm not going to be throwing a parade over it, nor do I think anybody else should or will be. I think 7-5 would be an average type of season. I think a lot of it would depend on who you beat and who you lose to. I think the goal should be 8-4 at minimum. So 7-5 isn't far off the goal, but I don't know, man. It's just I have a similar feeling coming into this season as I had last season, where it's like, you know, Spencer Rattler's just one guy, right? Juice Wells is just one guy. But to think, I mean, the most talented quarterback to ever step foot on campus based off of recruiting rankings and other things, if you're only able to win 7 games with that guy, especially after last year, what we saw in the final 2 games, you're only able to win 7 games. It just, I don't know. It'll feel like you didn't get the most out of what you brought back. It really will, just in my opinion. So, Oscar, defense isn't any good on paper. 7-5 is the baseline. I mean, listen, that's fair. That take is fair because I have questions on the defense as well. Let's see. Bruin Nation, when and who was the last great linebacker? It's been a while. Sky Moore. I mean, I think TJ Brunson, Bruin Nation, was a really good linebacker. The problem hasn't been, we've normally had one guy that's been pretty good. The problem is we just don't have a lot of those guys. We don't have great depth there, I feel like, ever. You know, we've had TJ Brunson. We've had Ernest Jones. We've had Sky Moore. We've had Jasper Brinkley. We've had Shaq Wilson. You know, we've had Eric Norwood. And that, you know, speaking of the Norwood and the Brinkleys, that's when I think the linebacker position actually was really, really good. But, like, when Ernest Jones was playing, TJ Brunson, you know, you have that one guy, but it's kind of like after that, there's a drop-off. You know what I mean? I've never seen Carolina go into it's just been so long since I've seen the Gamecocks go into a season and we're talking about like how great the linebackers are. You know what I mean? I don't know why that's been such an area of concern. I don't know why. Maybe we just haven't recruited it well. I don't know. But, you know, I think there's some promise there, though. Bringing in guys like Pup Howard, you know, Stone Blanton going in his second year, Jerron Willis. So Ostiger says Brewer Nation's wild and Ernest Jones was elite, and that was 2 years ago. Well, Ostiger, I think he's probably just trying to block out the 2020 season. I don't blame him either. I don't blame him. Brendan says, don't be doubting my guy Marcellus. Dial Island is about to be elite. I mean, I think that Marcellus is a good player, but I mean, again, Brendan, I'm just saying that you're having to replace guys like Cam Smith and Darius Rush. I mean, there's questions there. There's questions. So can Marcellus be that good? We'll see. We'll see. Coleman Hall says in 17, Bentley was 18 touchdowns, 12 picks, same as Spencer for 2,794 yards. No other person threw a touchdown. South Carolina ran for 16 touchdowns a team, 238 offensive points, 18.3 points per game offensively, field goal stats, 15 made in 13 games. 2017, we averaged 21.76 points per game aside from defense and special teams touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, 2017, Coleman was smoke and mirrors. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. It was smoke and mirrors, and listen, I hope we're not saying that about last year. I don't think you'll be able to say that about last year, though, because we thoroughly beat Tennessee's ass, right? Like you can't take anything away from that game. And we beat Clem Sucks. However it happened, we beat them. But, I know a lot of people look at that season last year and say, God, we left 2-3 wins out there. We could have been a 10-win team. And I think I understand why you say that, but I mean, you also look at, like, if not for special teams, do we lose to Georgia State? If not for special teams or the defense, making big plays, how does the Kentucky game go? I'm trying to think about which other games were in the balance that could have went the other way. Georgia was a blowout. Florida was a blowout. Missouri, the offense just stunk. You didn't get those big plays, right? You didn't get those big plays. The offense just stunk. So Georgia, Florida, Missouri, and who's the other one? Arkansas. That one, your defense got gutted. I just got gashed flat out. So, I mean, how many other games could have really turned the other way? A&M. Yeah. God, special teams in the A&M game. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you're not like apologizing for that, right? You're not saying that, like, well, we should just take special teams out of the game because, it's not offense. I don't think anybody's really saying that. I don't think anybody's really saying that. But, it's just, yeah. It's tough to depend on it week to week. Sorry, I'm just looking at Brendan M. with the find of the century. Brendan M. with the find of the century. How about that? Spring practice schedule. How about that? Look at that. That's crazy. I'm not going to post that simply because I don't want their verbiage getting out there, but that is very interesting. Huh. Wild. Anyways, let's turn to the phone lines here.
Call from
Football Frank.
Frank, what's up, my friend? How are you?
You got me all riled up now with this special teams talk.
I love it, man. I love it. Never too early to talk ball, right?
163 days till football. Just saying. I don't know who's counting.
I love it. I love it.
I got to see some of the Mark Ryan chat from yesterday. That was really good stuff, and I'm going to start and end with the same statement. DK is not a running back. All right? He is a playmaker. He is a lot of things, but he is not a running back. And, last year he got caught up in that whole, Bell, Lloyd, missing those guys. And look, we got rid of Lloyd. Let me tell you something. We put him up on a pedestal. The guy was a 25th best receiver, running back in the SEC. He wasn't even in the top 10. With 4 guys in the SEC with over 1,000 yards, he wasn't one of them. 3 games over 100 yards, not good. 105 yards combined. Georgia State, Arkansas, Georgia, and Mizzou. 105 yards combined in those 4 games. So, anyway, hasta la vista. That's the last time you hear me say his name. We got to get. I know you're talking about edge rushes and stuff like that. We need a 1,000-yard running back, and until we admit that, I don't want to hear guys in week 3 say, "Oh my God, how come we can't make it happen. You know, we got to get a guy like Sanders, Rodriguez, Judkins, Dave Davis was on the block, and for some reason we never talked to the kid.
Yeah, I mean, we just need a running game. I mean, I think that's the point you're really making is we need to be able to run the football.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. It really is. Line of scrimmage, I think, is why Carolina football has struggled a bit, and line of scrimmage is why we've struggled a bit. And yeah, so I mean, having that guy, I'm glad they're experimenting with Dak. Do I agree with you that he's not necessarily a running back by trade? He's probably not. I mean, he's probably not. Let's call it for what it is. He's probably not.
No.
But I'm glad they're experimenting at least.
Well, I mean, we can't have a guy. We watch too many running backs that ran against us get stacked up at the line and still get 8 yards. DK is going to get stacked up, and that's the end of that. He's not. At best, he's going to bump out and go around the outside. But you had a guy like those other 4 guys that ran over 1,000 yards. They get hands on them and they drag 4 guys for 8 yards.
Yeah. Yeah. Having
we
a
experimented with with Bell last year, and that didn't work out. So let's forget that.
Yeah, having a guy like that is huge, man, for sure. Having a guy like that is such a luxury, such a luxury.
I'm sure that Loggins understands that too. And I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but this time last year, Spencer Rattler was not on our roster.
No, he participated in spring ball. Rattler did because he was in the spring game. So he was there.
Okay.
Yeah, he was there.
All right. So we can potentially pick up a running back. Can we at this point?
Right now, no. The portal opens May the 1st. So it'll be after spring practice.
Right, but between now
yes,
and the
yes. No, absolutely. And I expect us to. Yeah, I mean, I fully expect us to.
Our RB1 last year ran for a total of 500 and something yards. I mean, there were teams in the SEC that had 2 backs that were better than our RB1. So we can't afford to experiment, with that. If we're not going to have, we had offensive line issues. We're going to have a running back issue. So let's, before we declare a 10-win season, maybe we should start straightening that out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
again,
I think that's the biggest thing probably holding us back is, is just line of scrimmage. I mean, that's really it. I mean, everybody's got athletes, but can you get a push?
Yeah, DK is a tremendous athlete. He can throw the ball. He can catch the ball. He can run with the ball. But we need a guy that's going to straight up carry and smash some mouths going through the line. I just don't see DK being able to pull that off without possibly getting himself hurt.
Indeed, my friend. Indeed. I think Coleman makes a great point. There's no point in taking the ball out of Spencer Rattler's hands for 3.8 yards per carry. Well, the fix is you need to run it for more than 3.8 yards per carry, for sure. No doubt.
You definitely got to do that. Look, I love the whole, having Juice Wells and DK in the backfield and trying to defend against that. And then, I don't know. I got to imagine that half the times we tried to run DK, we ran him into a couple of 300-pound linemen, and that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So, we're hoping, and that, you don't have an unlimited amount of offensive downs. So let's not pretend that that's going to work this year. And that, I'll leave you with that. Love DK is great. Love him. Committed to the school. Fantastic. Do the kid a favor though. Don't make him RB1.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to see that. I don't think you're going to see that.
But that's all I got for you today. You have a great one.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Talk soon, Frank. Awesome stuff. What do you say? 163 days, I believe, till football season. So 163 days. I'm just looking. Marshawn Lloyd actually posted clips or pictures, I should say, from his time at Southern Cal. I had not seen Lloyd in a Southern Cal jersey. There you go. There it is. Wow, dude. It's just wild seeing these guys jump ship like that, and a guy like Marshawn Lloyd. I know Travis been saying Marshawn Lloyd left us in this shit situation. Yeah. Coleman says, here it is again. I don't think run the ball is all that valuable, even if it's good. My wonderful Ole Miss Rebs were the #1 non-military academy triple option rushing team in college football, but who did they beat? And they even lost to the air raid. Well, I mean, Coleman, I think it's still important, though. I mean, I think if you cannot run the ball, it's not a guarantee if you can run it well that you're going to win a lot of games. But I think, Coleman, it is a guarantee. If you can't run the ball, you're not going to win very much. You're not going to win big. You're not going to win a lot. Guys, let's jump into another break. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. More your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, are back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Thursday, March the 23rd, 2023. By the way, guys, be sure to check out the podcast that dropped this morning, episode 769, full breakdown of this weekend series against the Missouri Tigers. Guys, guest interviews will return next week. We got my good guy, Dawson Hoffman, played football at Carolina. He will jump on the show. I know we don't do as many guest interviews as we've done in the past, just because of, we got a lot going on. Schedules are all over the place. And also, we've had a lot of Gamecocks on the show to this point. It's been we've had tons of guest interviews. So it's kind of hard to find people I haven't had on yet. Here we go. Let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing good. I did not walk yesterday because right as soon as the Spurs Up show went off yesterday, it started raining on and off from 2 o'clock up until I went to bed. So I'm definitely going to walk today because it looks like it's good outside from where I can see. But anyways, I think we should get a running back out of the portal, and if we can somehow find a gym in the portal at running back where he can average about 4.5 to 5 yards a carry, I'll take that every stinking day of the week, okay? Because if you have a running back that can average 4.5 to 5 yards a carry, okay, that helps out your offense tremendously. Now, do I still believe that DK deserves at least a chance? Yeah. I mean, the worst that could happen is it's not going to work, right? It's either going to work or it's not going to work. But I definitely believe that we should definitely get a running back like that out of the portal for sure before the season creeps up on us, because it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love that they're experimenting with it. So, like you said, what do you have to lose? Check it out. Just see if, and I say this, I mean, even if he's not your starting running back, I mean, you never know, man. You might develop a great gadget play, trick play out of it. It might be a play that wins you a game this season. You never really know. So I like the fact they're at least just giving it a look, and he's an athlete, and just see what he can do. I mean, I don't expect him to be RB1, but if he can help you in that manner, and again, you can throw some wrinkles in the playbook, I think it's positive.
Oh, for sure. And I definitely I think that like I said yesterday, right? At the end of the day, this coaching staff is going to do what's best to help the team succeed at a high level, okay? Which is why going into the spring game, whenever I go, okay, I'm going to just watch and see how everything unfolds. And, of course, the following Monday, I'll give you my 10 cents.
Looking forward to that. For sure.
And I'm actually jealous of my brother, my brother Chandler, who lives in the upstate. I'm jealous because I found out last night that somebody gave him tickets to the South Carolina UCLA game for Saturday.
Wow.
So I'm a bit jealous. Not only did he get tickets, but he's going to be in a luxury box, the lucky stinker.
How about it?
But I would love to try and go. The cheapest ticket that we saw was like $20. I'd be willing to pay the $20.
That seems like a steal.
I'd be absolutely willing. I don't care if we're sitting in the nosebleeds. I'd be willing to pay $20. I don't care. I mean, I've never been to an NCAA, basketball tournament, so that's always been on my bucket list. But
well, you only have two chances to catch him in Greenville, Saturday and Monday. So pick one.
Saturday and Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But and I definitely believe that like I said yesterday, also I think we'll win 2 out of 3 in the games this weekend against who we got? Mississippi State this weekend.
Missouri.
Oh, that's right. We got Missouri. Duh. I'm getting all confused. I think. Okay. Here's my predictions for the weekend. You ready? I got us. If we get, I believe if we get 6 runs on Friday, it's over. So I think we'll win 6-2 Friday, 6-3 Saturday, and then lose on Sunday in a nail biter 3-2.
Okay. Hey, a series win would be a victory, though, no doubt. A series win would be a victory.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if by some miracle if somehow we get the sweep, that's just icing on the cake.
No doubt, my friend. Yeah, it'd be huge. I've got us 2 of 3 as well. I think it will be a great series, very competitive. So you got 6-2, 6-3, and then a 3-2 loss.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also safe travels for tonight, because I know tonight you start off the tour. Okay. So safe travels for all of those dates. Okay. Because traffic is, especially when we're fixing to be the summer, traffic's going to be a pain in the arse. So
I appreciate that, Robbie.
And I'll see you on the 13th in Somerville.
I'm looking forward to it, man. That's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. Very much so.
Same here, buddy. All right. You have a good one, okay?
Robbie, be good. Take care, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
You too. Bye-bye.
Later. Great stuff from Robbie Davis. Appreciate him calling in. Will Hall says, whenever Sanders is up, he makes me nervous for some reason. I think he'll pitch well. By the way, guys, this just in, LSU guard Justice Williams has entered the transfer portal per Jamie Shaw. Dude, Lamont has got to hammer the portal. He's got to hammer the portal. So he's got to hammer the portal. How about this? Jacob E. is going on record today, says we only beat Kentucky because Will Levis was hurt. He said it was really nice to beat UK, but we all know the win doesn't carry any weight since Levis was out. But it was more about how terrible the offense was and the defense bailed him out. Well, I tell you this, my guy. Nobody felt sympathy for us in 2021. We were on our 5th quarterback, so I really don't give a damn. I really don't. A win's a win. We got the dub, and that's about it. So, and I think we'll beat that ass again at home this year. So I'm not too concerned about Kentucky. Not too concerned about Kentucky. Weekend rotation is set. Surprise, surprise. Sanders, Hall, Mahoney on the weekend. Sanders, Hall, Mahoney on the weekend. No surprise there. No surprise there at all. Frank says we beat Kentucky because Lloyd ran for 80 yards. Frank, if I had to pick a reason why we beat Kentucky, we beat Kentucky because we were opportunistic defensively. I think that's one of the big reasons. We smothered them defensively. So Coleman Hall says the only way we win a bunch of games and score a bunch of points is if Spencer has a great year and we run the ball when it's not predictable and telegraphed. Taking the ball from Spencer, forcing a bad run game, or relying on a depleted defense isn't going to be great. Yeah, we got to score. Coleman, we got to score. Yeah, we got to score. There's no question. I think we're going to have to score. I think to get to 8 or more wins, I think we need to score 35 points per game. I absolutely do. Yeah, I think we need to. Brian Dean says, can't believe Chico left. Yeah, that one was surprising. That one was really surprising. He also says Lamont Paris is going to have to live in the transfer portal this offseason. I agree with you. Yeah, I think it's he's going to have to hammer the portal, man. Absolutely. He's going to have to absolutely hammer the transfer portal. Yep, it's just he doesn't have much of a choice. He doesn't have much of a choice. So he does not have much of a choice. Madison says Beamer versus Lou Holtz, no contest. What do you mean by that, Madison? What does that mean? No contest on what? Again, guys, Sanders, Hall, Mahoney for the Yardcocks this weekend. Sanders, Hall, Mahoney. Mark Kingston, by the way, will be live at Liberty Tap Room and Grill tonight, 6 to 7. So if you're going to that, come on out to Carolina Ale House after in Harbison. We'll be out there hanging out, chilling. It's going to be a good time, man. I'm excited for it. Again, the tour over the summer was really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to getting back getting back out there. So here we go. Let's turn to the phone lines.
Call from
Dave Garrett.
Dave, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing fine. Wanted to wish you good luck on the tour starting tonight. I know you're going to knock it out at the park. But be safe on the road and have a great time.
Thank you.
And also, Robbie Davis, I'm tired of hearing about that Zaxby shit. You need to get off your ass, quit resting on that, and try to be a Duke's Barbecue Hall of Famer. Then you can do something. Hope you have a good day, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Dave, you're the man. I appreciate it. Dave with some fighting words for Robbie Davis. Dave with some fighting words to get off of your ass, son. That makes me think of, I wonder how Uncle Boudreaux's doing these days. I have not, it's crazy. I think it was last week. This time, it's crazy to think, guys, how much has changed in a year. I mean, it really is. And this time last year, we were doing the Tin Roof shows, and it was like almost a year ago to the date that Uncle Boudreaux did his stand-up at one of my Tin Roof shows. And it's crazy to think, man, again, how much changes in a year and that we were doing those Tin Roof shows. And I appreciate all those guys at Tin Roof, and it was a good time. It was a really good time. We had a lot of fun. For sure. So somebody says there's more food out there. There's just Zaxby's, Robbie. John Edward. Why are people throwing shade on the Zaxby's Hall of Famer? I wonder why. I don't know. You're going to get a second Robbie call. Y'all about to get a second Robbie call. Robbie about to come in and fight for Zaxby's if you're not careful. So. I love that. Appreciate Dave Garrett, though. Again, I want to shout out Dave, a guy that's helped me out a ton in business and in life in general, and has helped me out a lot of the technical side of stuff with like the speaker and stuff like that we bring to the tour stops. But was just saying that, the summer tour was a lot of fun. And I think it'll be really, really cool to get back at these different locations, these ale house locations, and mingle with you guys and hang out and talk Gamecocks. And it's just a really casual, laid back thing, man. It's just a really fun time. A lot of fun, selling merchandise, obviously, too. And, we really enjoy it. We really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. And I appreciate each and every single one of you that comes out, and excited to have the merch on sale once again. Again, the Beamer Ball towels, the koozies. We got the Beamer Ball to the Moon Tour shirts that'll be available exclusively on the tour and for Big Cock Club members, by the way. So all of my folks in the BCC, please don't think that I have forgotten about you all. Don't think I've forgotten about you all. We'll be taking orders in the BCC Discord, but I'm looking forward to it, man. It's just a blast. It's a blast, truly. I love getting out and about. I love getting out on the road and meeting you guys. It's really cool, too. Like Madison Duncan, I think, says she's going to be there tonight. It's cool meeting people that tune to the show, and you see names and you see really, really tiny pictures, but then meeting people in person. It's a neat thing. It's a really neat thing. So I just, I genuinely appreciate the folks that show love, show support. And I tell you this, guys, too. I tell you this, whether 5 show up or 50 show up or 500 show up, I really live by the, all we got's all we need. And those that, those that are there, when your goal is just to positively impact just one person, right? It's easy to win, and it's easy to stack wins. And most of the time, if not all the time, we're impacting a lot more than just one person. It was really cool last year seeing some of the crowds we got, man. I mean, talking about 30, 40, 50 people at an event when people could be doing literally anything and everything, and they're coming out to our events. It's a blast. I mean, it's a blessing. It's a blessing beyond measure. And, I'm really excited for it and excited to get on the road and, meet up with you guys again, sell some merch. And it's just, I love getting like out of the studio, doing different things. You know, I've always prided myself on that. Even in the beginning, I would tell people like, it's not just a podcast. Like I didn't want to be labeled as like, oh, he's just a podcast. Like we're not a podcast, man. This thing is so much bigger than a podcast. Don't put us in a box. And so getting out and about and doing events is one of those really, really cool things that, it's one of those really cool things that I think separates TSUS. And again, it's more of a thank you to you guys than anything. I mean, that's really why I love to do it. I just love to get out and shake people's hands and say thank you for the love and support and say thanks and show gratitude. You know what I mean? And it's a cool thing. So anyways, really, really excited. Also, by the way, I have not seen the merch in person yet. Jocelyn, who helped us with that merchandise, she got it delivered to her. It looks absolutely incredible. By the way, we're actually expected to have a Gamecocks golfer going to stop by tonight. I've got something to deliver to him from our good friend Golf Life Metals. Excited to get those markers and stuff over to them. But Evans Lewis, TSUS athlete, he's going to come out, I think, tonight. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited to see you guys. It's the Ale House in Harbison, Brian Dean. Ale House in Harbison. Ale House in Harbison. Jeff Gulledge with the Lady Gamecocks win the Natty. Again, is there a chance to design and create Lady Gamecocks merch? Jeff, I'm down with it. Yeah, I'm down. I mean, listen, we did that last year with the Dynasty merch, the women's basketball school merch, the national champions merch. So I think we for sure, Jeff, will create something. I think no doubt we'll create something. I'm not exactly sure what it'll be, but there will be, Jeff, some sort of victory, back-to-back national champion, something to commemorate the big victory. And I would expect that to happen. I absolutely would expect that to happen. And looking forward to it. Yeah. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Let's see. I don't know why Twitter's got like all these bots that reply to so many tweets. Dude. It's just crazy. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Let's see. Guys, March Madness returns tonight, by the way, huh? How about that? I think Tennessee's playing tonight. Brendan and Dalton's favorite team, the Tennessee Volunteers, they hit the floor tonight. I need to know who Dalton's playing. Is he fading the Vols tonight? What's he doing with the action? Brian Dean, shout out to Macedonia, South Carolina. Didn't even know it existed. Macedonia. Stephen Boyle Jr., excited to see you, my friend. Excited to see you. Hunter Kelly, we do not know who the welcome homes are right now. Coleman Hall says, let Lamont cook. We went to a Final Four in a magical Cinderella run with generational players. Need some patience. I rarely advocate for that with the portal other than 2017. Our time in the 90s and Frank McGuire's time would have the Gamecocks been good, much less enjoyed tourney success. That's a great point, Coleman. I think we've been to 2 tournaments since 2000 or something like that. It's been a very long time. I mean, it's been a long time, Coleman, no doubt. No doubt, my friend. No doubt. Let's see. Trying to see here. Yeah, it's funny. It was this time last year, guys, that we announced the Elite 8 watch party. It was before the Sweet 16 happened. That's how confident I was. I said it was Carolina versus TBD. And per Ale House's request, they have asked me not to do that. They don't want me to. They feel like it could possibly be a jinx. I don't think so. I really don't. Yeah. I don't think it'd be a jinx. I really don't. Let's see. It's funny. Last year I was posting one last ride for the Carry On Joiner, and sure enough, he is back. So there you go. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. The phone lines are open. 843-790-3377. Let's see. There we go. All right. Brendan says Dalton's taking FAU on the spread. Okay. I didn't know that. There you go. Will Hall says, I wonder how we may have fared this year if we ended up locking down Sean Miller. My guy, I don't even know. There's just no point. And Travie, Mizzou's hitting an even 300. They beat Kansas last night. We're tied going to the ninth inning and ended up winning that game 8-3, I believe. So, Brian Dean says picking San Diego State to upset Alabama. That's a hell of a pick. That's a hell of a pick, my friend. Blake says it's not a jinx. Wait, losing. I mean, Blake, I agree with you. I'm respecting their wishes. I am respecting their wishes, but the watch party for that will take place at Woodruff Road in Greenville, which I think will have a really, really good turnout. But safe to say, I'm going to be promoting the heck out of it the second the clock hits 0 on Saturday. I'm going to promote the heck out of it. So I want to make sure we get as many people there as possible. Let's see. Hunter Kelly says he lives in Monk's Corner. How about that? Shout out to Monk's Corner. One of my good buddies from college was from Monk's Corner. John Ember says restaurants are superstitious. Okay. Dave says I live the waterfront restaurant in Bono. I don't think I've ever been to Bono, Dave. I don't think I have. Don't think I've been to Bono. Alabama, their pro day is underway. Anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all. I mean, see, this is what I'm saying. Oh, did I say it wrong? It looks like Bono to me. Bono? Is that it? Bonet? I mean, bro, I have no idea. Bonneau. How do you say it, Hunter Kelly? I genuinely have no idea. James Kendall, is it confirmed DK is out of eligibility? Yeah, James, he might run it back next year, find some loophole to, get another year. Who knows? I think this is the last one, James. I think this is the last one. I think so. Oh, here we go. Now we're gonna get the
Call from
Hunter.
What's going on, Hunter? How are you?
What's going on, man?
Just hanging out.
It's called Bono.
Bono. Okay. My apologies.
Yeah. I had a call because it's kind of hard. I know on text it's kind of hard to read it and stuff. So
Bono. All right. I had no idea. Had never heard of it till about 5 seconds ago.
yeah, no, it's just a little small. I think it's called a lake or something. Beach. I guess it's a beach because it's called Bono Beach. But yeah, it's like probably 10 minutes away from me.
Very good.
Yeah, I just had to call. I appreciate it though.
I appreciate you, Hunter. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yep.
Thanks, my friend. Take care. Great stuff, Hunter Kelly. There you go. It's Bono. I said it in Bonet. Bono. Is that what I said? Bonet? Bonsoir. I don't know. Guys, we'll jump into one final break. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. More your questions, comments, calls, more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so here in the Daily Crow, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Again, guys, let me say thank you all so much for tuning in. You know, I know admittedly the crowds or the audience is lighter this time of year than what we get during football season, right? I mean, we had upwards of 250 to 300 people on the show live at times. And right now, we're normally only getting about 30, 40, 50 people. But you know what? As I've said before from the beginning, if it positively impacts one person, then we're winning. So thank y'all for tuning in, even when it's the quote-unquote off season, if you will. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Dalton.
Dalton, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing all right. Since it's kind of a slow day today, I wanted to call in and give you my plays for tonight. If anybody wants to tell me on these Sweet 16 plays, they can. But
Yeah, Brandon
just,
teased us. He said you got FAU on the spread already, so I think we're familiar with one of them.
yeah, it's plus 5.5 FAU. The reason why I think that is just because Tennessee's offense is bipolar. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country, but you don't win national championships. You don't make it to Final Fours playing defense. And I mean, their offense showed up against Duke, but I don't think that they will show up against FAU, and FAU is one of the best mid-majors in the country. So I think plus 5.5 is a good bet. I mean, I think you could take money line there, but I think taking them to cover is probably the best bet. And then I like Arkansas on the money line. Arkansas, I believe, is incredibly underseeded in this tournament. They are one of the best teams talent-wise in the country. They obviously underperformed in SEC play, but it seems that Eric Musselman has got them playing to the best of their ability, and I think they've made it to at least the Elite Eight for the past 2 years in the tournament. So I think Arkansas, I'm backing the Razorbacks on that one against the University of Connecticut. Gonzaga UCLA, I think, is a coin flip. I would probably take Gonzaga here just because they've got more tournament experience. I feel just making deep runs, and I believe the best freshman on UCLA's team is injured, so that's a coin flip. But I'm taking Gonzaga. But the two I feel most confident about are FAU on the spread and Arkansas either on the spread or on the money line.
Okay. Sounds like a bunch of winners to me, my friend. Sounds like a bunch of winners. So
we'll see how it plays. And then obviously, this Saturday, me and Brendan are going to the Sweet 16 game. Hammer the Cox. That's all I'm going to say. Hammer the Cox.
What are they? Minus 17, I think, right now? Is that still the
right
number?
now? I mean, that number will probably go up if I had to guess.
Yeah.
It'll probably go up, but I think any
17 and a half now.
Points,
17 and a half on DraftKings.
Yeah, anything lower than 17 points or anything lower than 20, I think is a safe play. Obviously we're just much better than pretty much everybody in the country. There are a couple teams that scare me a little bit. UConn is one of them. Stanford, if they were still in, would be one of them, but obviously they're out of the tournament. But UConn's really the only team, and then Iowa is maybe the wild card. I think Iowa has the best guard play in the women's tournament. And so if they get hot at the 3-point line, they could be an issue. But I just think the size and the physicality and the length that we have on the defensive end is just going to be too much for pretty much everybody, and the score is going to be lopsided this Saturday.
Yeah. So the winner, assuming South Carolina wins, which we think they're going to, they will take on the winner in the Elite Eight of Maryland and Notre Dame, the 2 and 3 seed respectively. So, which would be a good match. But South Carolina, we already beat Maryland, right? We already beat them, correct?
I believe we beat them on the road as well. And because it's in Greenville, because it's on a Monday night, I'm not sure how good the attendance is going to be. But, I mean, it should feel kind of like a home court advantage
It's in the state of South Carolina. We already beat Maryland on the road. So, yeah, I mean, I like our chances against Maryland, and I like our chances to go back to the Final Four.
Mhm.
You know, as everybody predicted. I believe there was a statistics company or like, I'm not sure who did this, but they basically did a simulation of the tournament. And I think South Carolina came out as a national champion 60% of the time.
Wow.
So by most accounts, we're getting, you know, above a 50% chance, not just to make it back to the Final Four, but to win the national title again.
Who do we I'm asking everyone, who do we think the biggest threat is left? Because by the way, South Carolina beat Maryland. It was back in November, 81-56 at their place. I mean, it was a butt whooping. So you feel pretty confident the Gamecocks can get it done there. I mean, LSU still in it. You already disposed of them. Utah's a 2 seed on the other side. Let's say you make the national championship. What's left on the other side is Miami, Villanova, LSU, Utah, Vatech, Tennessee, Ohio State, and UConn. Who, again, UConn, you already beat at their place.
I would say UConn's kind of the only team that I would say has a legitimate shot.
Mhm.
But obviously, that's with the caveat that we're not playing our best game. I think if we play our best game, we'll beat everybody by double digits. That's basically how I feel about it. If we don't play our best game, I think UConn really is the only team left in the field that could beat us.
Yeah.
You know,
I really would love to see that
Stanford.
South Carolina-Iowa matchup in the Final Four. I would.
That would be an interesting.
I'd
matchup.
love
I
to
mean,
see that. I'd love to see that.
Obviously, Caitlin Clark has been getting a lot of hype. Iowa is a very good team, I would say. And, you know, like I said, their guard play is probably the best in the country in the women's bracket. So that would be a fun matchup. I still think we would win by double digits just because, you know, defensively, there just really isn't anybody else that could match up with us. But, you know, the Final Four should be a decent game. You know, but again, hammer the Cox. That's all I'll say. If you want to make a lot of money, hammer the Cox.
Hammer them. Hammer the Cox for sure. I love it. I love it, Dalton. A lot of dubs upcoming. By the way, fun fact, the only other team that is a double-digit favorite, of course, talking women's college basketball, the only other team this weekend, or at least in the Sweet 16, that is a double-digit favorite, it is UConn. They're a 10-point favorite over Ohio State. The rest of the games are really, really close spreads. The next biggest is Iowa, a 5.5-point favorite over Colorado.
I think me and Brendan got tickets to the Notre Dame Maryland game just because you get two games. Like whenever you buy a ticket to the NCAA tournament, like you get two games. And the other game that we got was Maryland Notre Dame, which that should be a pretty good matchup. I think Maryland is favored, but and I think they'll probably win. But Notre Dame did win a national title a couple years ago, and they're obviously a really good program. So, you know, could be an upset there. But again, I think no matter what, that Elite Eight matchup, we're going to be favored, you know, assuming we make it, which, you know, I think we will. Won't really have any problems with UCLA.
Indeed. I'm confident as well, my guy. Going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, it should be. We'll make sure to take a picture and send it to you just to show all the people or all the Gamecock fans that are there, because I think it was basically sold out when I checked my tickets or whatever when we bought them. There weren't very many seats left, so it should be a pretty raucous crowd, home field advantage, all that kind of thing, which is what you want in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Greenville will be rocking, no doubt. I know you and Brendan will be leading the way. Dalton, appreciate the call as always, my friend. It's always a pleasure.
All right, you have a good one.
Hey, Dalton, take care, man. Thanks so much. That leads us right into 2 o'clock, guys. I had one quick question for you. I actually just got these in the mail. They're blue light glasses. Do we think this is a vibe or not? I think the answer is probably going to be no. Do I look more sophisticated? Do my takes now come off differently? Apparently, these are supposed to protect your eyes. I don't know, man. I thought they just looked kind of cool. Miss TSUS, I don't think is a very big fan. Hunter Kelly says, God, no. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you for letting me down easy. What if I loved him, Hunter? What if I loved him, Hunter? Huh? What if I loved him? You know what? I might make this a thing now just because Hunter said that. Just because Hunter said that. Nah, I'm just kidding. But at minimum, we're going to sign off with them all. Guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank y'all so much. Hey, the TSUS, I can't even take myself seriously. The TSUS tour tonight, spring tour gets going. Carolina Ale House in Harbison. Be sure to check us out. 6 o'clock is when things will get, excuse me, when things will get rolling. 6 o'clock tonight, we'll get after it. Also, guys, check out the podcast to drop this morning, episode 769. Full breakdown of this weekend series against the Missouri Tigers. Guys, again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Electric stuff as always. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your Thursday. And we'll see you tonight at Carolina Ale House in Harbison in Columbia, South Carolina.